I wake up at 5:40 a.m. in my West Hollywood apartment. Rent is $4,200 a month, which is completely insane, but the light streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows is perfect for morning content, and that's what matters, and immediately reach for my iPhone 15 Pro Max in desert titanium. The phone case is Bellroy sustainable leather, $89, because my followers eat up that eco-conscious bullshit. The first thing I do, before I even piss or brush the taste of last night's Xanax out of my mouth, is open Instagram. My overnight metrics, 847 new followers. Not bad but not great. I screenshot the number and then, because I'm a masochistic piece of shit, I check it Zen Master Brad's account. 1,203 new followers overnight. I screenshot this too and save it to a hidden photo album I've labeled Competition, which now contains 247 screenshots of this asshole's growth metrics dating back to March. Brad posted a shirtless sunrise meditation video 7 hours ago from his Malibu deck. It already has 34,000 likes and the comments are the usual brain-dead worship, Daddy Zen Master, with the drooling emoji, this literally saved my life, can you adopt me? The last one is from @CrystalGoddess22, who I'm pretty sure is 53 and lives in Cleveland but posts like she's some enlightened 25-year-old yogini. The bathroom mirror reflects someone I barely recognize anymore. Hollow cheekbones from the intermittent fasting I do for content rather than health, 16-hour fasts that I document with time-lapse stories and captions about spiritual cleansing through conscious hunger. The Sanskrit tattoo on my left shoulder blade, ahimsa, which means non-violence, though I fantasize daily about punching Brad's perfect face, looks faded under the LED lighting I installed specifically for mirror selfies. I drink 16 ounces of Evian, not smart water, not fucking Dasani, but Evian because it tastes like nothing and costs 3 times as much, mixed with Celtic sea salt and half a lemon while scrolling through my DMs, 47 messages since last night. Most are from women asking for guidance, but really they want to fuck me, or they want free coaching sessions, or they're trying to sell me some pyramid scheme supplement. There's one from a verified account, some actress from a Netflix show I've never watched, asking about my transformation journey. I hard reacted without reading past the first line. The lemon water burns my empty stomach in a way that feels purifying until I remember that stomach acid mixed with citrus actually damages your esophageal lining, but my audience associates morning lemon water with wellness, so I drink it anyway while filming a 30-second story about alkalizing my temple for optimal vibration. The irony of creating acidic content about alkaline living isn't lost on me, but my followers aren't exactly biochemistry majors. @ManifestingMaggie23 has already viewed my story and responded with the fire emoji, which means she'll repost it to her 15K followers within the hour. Maggie is a parasite but a useful one. She shares everything I post, buys every product I recommend, and generates enough engagement to keep the algorithm interested in my content. Her real name is probably Margaret and she probably works in accounting in Phoenix, but online she's a manifestation goddess who charges $197 for vision board workshops and thinks the universe is a cosmic vending machine that dispenses abundance in exchange for gratitude posts. I set up my meditation corner, Manduka Pro Yoga mat in black, $120, Tibetan singing bowl from Summitsi seller who's probably a white girl named Casey from Portland, $78, 3 succulents arranged in a triangle because sacred geometry or some shit, and take exactly 47 photos. The angle has to be perfect. The light has to catch the copper finish on the singing bowl just right. The succulents can't look too staged, but they also can't look randomly placed because my audience is sophisticated enough to spot lazy content but too stupid to realize that everything is calculated. The meditation setup is pure theater. I bought the singing bowl because it photographs well and makes that mystical ringing sound that people associate with enlightenment, though I have no idea what note it's supposed to be or whether Tibetan monks would recognize anything authentic about my spiritual practice. The succulents were chosen specifically for their Instagram appeal, hearty enough to survive my neglect but exotic enough to suggest that I'm the type of person who nurtures living things with conscious intention. The actual meditation lasts exactly 12 minutes because that's how long it takes for the natural light to shift enough to ruin the aesthetic. I don't meditate so much as perform meditation while thinking about content creation, engagement rates, and whether Brad's morning routine generates more authentic-looking content than mine. True presence is impossible when your livelihood depends on documenting every moment of performed spirituality. I post one photo to my story with the text, starting the day with intention, and immediately open the analytics to watch the views climb. Brad's morning story already has 23,000 views. Mine hits 5,000 in the first minute, which isn't terrible but isn't great either. The apartment itself is a carefully curated spiritual prison. Every piece of furniture, every decorative object, every book positioned on the floating shelves has been selected for its ability to signal enlightened living to anyone who might film content here. The Eames lounge chair I can't afford, $6,495 in walnut and black leather, positioned perfectly in the corner where the morning light makes it look like a meditation throne. Books by Ram Dass, Eckhart Tolle, and Deepak Chopra arranged casually but strategically, spines facing out, worn enough to suggest frequent reading but not so worn that they look cheap. The kitchen counter displays my supplement collection like a pharmacy for the spiritually ambitious. Adaptogenic mushroom powder from 4 Sigma Tick, $39 for 30 servings, collagen peptides from Vital Proteins, $43 for unflavored because I'm not a child who needs vanilla cake batter flavor, ashwagandha from Gaia Herbs, $24.99 for stress relief that doesn't work but photographs beautifully in morning flat lay shots. My signature green smoothie requires the Vitamix A3500 blender in brushed stainless steel, $5.49, and yes, I put that shit on a credit card because investing in your health sounds better than crippling debt from kitchen appliances, organic kale from Arohan at $8.99 per bunch, which is absolutely criminal, but my followers would crucify me if I admitted to shopping at Ralph's, collagen peptides from Vital Proteins in unflavored because I'm not a child who needs vanilla cake batter flavor, $43. For a container that lasts 3 weeks if I'm being honest about serving sizes. The Arohan kale is a perfect example of Los Angeles spiritual materialism. $8.99 for kale that tastes exactly like the kale at Whole Foods but costs twice as much because it's sold in a store that looks like a meditation retreat designed by someone who learned about wellness from Goop newsletter. My followers expect me to shop at Arohan because it signals that I value quality over economy, consciousness over convenience, though the real reason I shop there is because everyone else in the wellness space shops there and I can't risk being seen as someone who cuts corners on his nutritional spirituality. The blending process gets filmed from 3 angles. I've learned that showing my hands, manicured but not too manicured, a few small scars from rock climbing in Joshua Tree last year for content, makes it feel more authentic. The smoothie has to be the perfect shade of green. Not too dark or people think it tastes like lawn clippings. Not too light or they question the nutrient density. I add more kale and some again. The rock climbing scars are from a weekend trip I took specifically for content, 3 days in Joshua Tree with a photographer I hired for $800 to document my connection with nature and surrender to the unknown. I posted the climbing content over 6 weeks, spacing it out to maximize the narrative of spiritual adventure and masculine vulnerability. The scars healed months ago, but I keep them visible in content because they suggest authenticity and hint at a life lived beyond the confines of West Hollywood wellness culture. 23 minutes of editing on VSCO. The X1 filter with exposure bumped up 0.4, contrast down 0.2, and saturation increased just enough to make the green pop without looking fake. I post it with the caption, "Fueling my temple with pure intention." What's nourishing your soul today? The engagement comes fast, likes, comments, the usual suspects leaving fire emojis and "daddy" in all caps. The visco editing process is meditation for the spiritually bankrupt. 23 minutes of adjusting filters and fine-tuning exposure while my actual smoothie sits untouched and warming to room temperature. By the time I finish editing, the drink tastes like liquid disappointment, but the Instagram post looks like enlightenment in a glass. This is the central paradox of wellness influencing. The documentation of healthy living prevents you from actually living healthily. I respond to the first 20 comments with variations of "sending you love and light," "beautiful soul," and "grateful for this community," while mentally categorizing each commenter. At Manifesting Maggie 23 is useful. She shares everything to her story and has 15K followers. At Wellness Warrior Woman is a parasite, constantly asking for free advice and never engaging with sponsored content. The comment responses are performed gratitude, each "beautiful soul" and "love and light" typed while I calculate the engagement value of the person receiving my digital blessing. At Manifesting Maggie 23 gets extra attention because her reposts increase my reach. At Wellness Warrior Woman gets ignored because she consumes content without contributing to my growth metrics. At Sacred Sister Sarah gets a personalized response because she has 47K followers and might be useful for future collaborations. This is what spirituality becomes in the attention economy, a customer service experience where enlightenment is the product and everyone is both selling and buying the same emptiness repackaged as consciousness. I check my Bank of America account while sipping the smoothie. $12,847 from last month's sponsorships. Not bad, but Brad's recent collaboration with Goop probably netted him 30 grand minimum. I know this because I follow 3 gossip accounts that track influencer rates, and I've become embarrassingly good at calculating earnings based on engagement and brand prestige. The bank account balance is a daily ritual of financial anxiety disguised as abundance tracking. $12,847 sounds impressive until you subtract rent, $4,200, car payment on the leased Tesla, $847, health insurance, $320, gym membership, $180, phone bill, $95, credit card minimums, $890, and the various subscription services required to maintain the illusion of prosperity: Netflix, Spotify, Adobe Creative Suite, Canva Pro, Later, Visco, Headspace, for the meditation app one never use but need to reference in content, and Goop's Wellness newsletter that I hate read for competitive intelligence. The Goop collaboration math haunts me because it represents everything I want and everything I hate about this industry. Brad probably earned more from one sponsored post about Gwyneth Paltrow's overpriced supplements than I earn in 3 months of documenting my spiritual journey for an audience that's increasingly migrating to younger, prettier teachers who haven't yet realized that consciousness can't be monetized without destroying the thing you're trying to sell. For the gym, I select my outfit carefully: Aloe Yoga leggings in sage green, $88, Fear of God Essentials hoodie in oatmeal, $180, Golden Goose Superstar sneakers in white with that perfectly distressed look, $495. All gifted by brands in exchange for tagged posts, which means I can write them off as business expenses while looking like I spend a fortune on athleisure. The outfit selection process takes longer than my actual meditation practice. Each piece must signal the right combination of wealth, taste, and spiritual awareness while being comfortable enough for actual exercise and photogenic enough for gym content. The Aloe leggings are cut specifically to make my ass look rounder and more lifted than genetics intended. The Fear of God hoodie costs more than most people's monthly grocery budget but signals that I'm the type of person who values quality and understands fashion as spiritual expression. The Golden Goose sneakers are the most offensive item in my wardrobe, $4.95 for shoes that are pre-distressed to look like they've lived a life more interesting than the one I'm actually living. Someone in Italy is paid to make these shoes look authentically worn so that people like me can purchase the appearance of genuine experience. It's spiritual materialism in its purest form, buying the aesthetic of authenticity because the real thing is too difficult or time-consuming to achieve. The fact that all of this is gifted by brands doesn't make it free, it just means I'm paying with my integrity instead of my credit card. Each tagged post is a small transaction where I trade credibility for athleisure, consciousness for collaboration opportunities. Before I leave, I check Brad's account one more time. He's posted another story, this one a mirror selfie with the caption, "Grateful for another day to serve." His abs are ridiculous. His jawline could cut glass. His follower count has increased by another 200 since I last checked. I screenshot it and add it to the album. The mirror selfie is everything I hate about Brad and everything I aspire to become. The casual perfection of his physique, the effortless confidence in his expression, the way he makes gratitude look sexy and service look profitable. His caption about serving others is particularly galling because we both know he's serving himself, but his audience believes in his altruism because he's beautiful enough to make narcissism look like compassion. The follower increase, 200 people in the time it took me to drink a smoothie and respond to comments, represents the algorithmic injustice that keeps me awake at night. Brad gains followers while sleeping, while breathing, while existing in his perfect body with his perfect life in his perfect Malibu house. I gain followers through calculated strategy, consistent posting, and the kind of desperate engagement farming that makes social media feel like a pyramid scheme for the spiritually ambitious. Adding the screenshot to the competition album is a ritual of self-harm disguised as market research. 248 images of Brad's success documented obsessively, chronologically, pathologically. Sometimes I scroll through the album late at night while taking Xanax and wonder if this is what forensic investigators feel like when they study crime scenes, this clinical documentation of violence, except the violence is being done to my own psyche and I'm both the victim and the perpetrator. The apartment door locks with a satisfying click, sealing off the spiritual theater of my morning routine. In the hallway, I pass my neighbor, a wannabe actress who works at Soul Cycle and posts inspirational quotes over sunset photos, and we exchange the kind of empty smile that means, I see you performing wellness and I'm performing it too, and we both know it's performance, but we're going to pretend it's authentic because acknowledging the performance would make it impossible to continue. The Tesla is parked in the building's garage, gleaming under fluorescent lights that make everything look like a medical procedure. The monthly payment is destroying my financial future, but the car is essential for content, the silent acceleration for driving stories, the autopilot feature for hands-free filming, the Tesla logo that signals environmental consciousness and technological sophistication to an audience that equates electric vehicles with enlightened living. I sit in the driver's seat for a moment before starting the car, looking at my reflection in the rearview mirror. The person staring back looks like someone who has his life together, someone who wakes up early and drinks green smoothies and practices gratitude and invests in his health and spiritual development. The person staring back looks successful, conscious, authentic. The person staring back is a complete fucking lie. But lies that photograph well are more valuable than truths that don't, and in the attention economy, value is the only measurement that matters. I start the car and drive toward Equinox, already planning the content I'll create for my workout, already calculating the engagement I'll generate from my performance of fitness and mindfulness, already adding to the competition album in my mind with screenshots of Brad's inevitable morning perfection. The dashboard clock reads 7:23 a.m. In 17 minutes, I'll post my gym arrival story and Brad will probably gain another 100 followers just for existing while I fight for every hard reaction and comment like their life support for a dying career. This is consciousness in late-stage capitalism, a performance so complete that the performer forgets where the show ends and the self begins, if there was ever a self to begin with.